today's video, we are going to be looking at real-world scenarios involving volume. All right, so we're going to use all the volume formulas we've worked with: cylinder, cone, sphere, hemisphere, rectangular prism, and apply those in real-world scenarios. So in this first problem, it says a case of tennis balls is in the form of a cylinder with a diameter of 3 and a height of 7. Each tennis ball has a radius of 1.3 inches. How many tennis balls can fit in the case? So first thing we have to do is find the volume of all the figures we're trying to solve for. So in this case, we have a cylinder, which is the case, and we have a tennis ball, which is a sphere. So the volume of the case is going to be pi r squared h. We'll figure that out first. Now, the diameter of the cylinder, right, it's a cylinder, is 3. So if the diameter is 3, that means the radius is 3 divided by 2, which is 1.5. So that is going to go in for my radius of the case, 1.5. All right, and then that says the height is 7, right? We have a height of 7, so that goes in here. Okay, can't forget the squared. Don't do that. Then we figure that out in the calculator. I'm going to, we'll figure all this out in the calculator. 1.5 squared times 7 times pi. So 1.5 squared times 7 times pi is 49.48. So I'm just going to leave it 49.48. It doesn't tell me what to round it to. I'm just going to do that. 49.48. That is the volume of the case. Okay, now the volume of the tennis ball is a sphere, so it's 4/3 pi r cubed. So it's 4/3 pi, and then the tennis ball has a radius of 1.3, so I'm going to plug that in and then cube it. Okay, so again, back to our calculator. 1.3 cubed to the 3rd power times 4 divided by 3 times pi is 9.202. Okay. So I'm going to say this is 9.20. Okay, so now we have the volume of the case and the volume of one ball. And at the very end, we are going to divide them. So 49.48 divided by 9.20, which is just 9.2, is 5.37. Now, I cannot have 5.37 tennis balls fit in the case. So you only take the maximum whole number that does. So 5 is the maximum whole number. So the the number of balls that fit into the case would be just 5. So my answer is 5 tennis balls. So again, answer the question using your common sense in relation to the problem. You're not going to have 5.37 tennis balls. All right. So answer it to and answer the question. So how many tennis balls fit in the case? 5 tennis balls do. All right. Let's take a look at another scenario. A standard men's size basketball has a diameter of 9.5 and a women's basketball has a diameter of 9.2. How many times bigger is a men's basketball compared to a women's basketball? So, again, we're going to compare the men's, which again is a sphere. So it's 4/3 pi r cubed. Now this one says the diameter is 9.5. So the diameter is 9.5. That means the radius is 9.5 divided by 2, which is 4.75. Ah. There we go. That's it's an ugly 75, but you get the picture. 4.75 is my radius. Okay. And again, making sure that you know how to put this in the calculator. So you have to always do the exponent first. 4.75 cubed first. 4.75 to the third power times 4 divided by 3 times pi is 448.9205. 448.92. Okay. That's the volume of the men's. Now the volume of the women's. It's a little bit smaller. So we have the diameter is 9.2. That means the radius is 9.2 divided by 2, which is 4.6. So the volume of the women's is the same thing as the men's, right? 4/3 instead of pi r cubed, instead of 4.75 cubed, it's 4.6 cubed. So we do that 4.6 cubed, 4.6 to the third power times 4 divided by 3 times pi is 407.720008. Okay, so 407.72. 407.72. Okay, and then we are going to divide them again, right? How many times? I should have looked back up at the problem here. How many times bigger? How many times bigger means you divide. Now it says how much bigger, that means you would subtract. But how many times would be divide. So 448.9205. All right, did I write that down correctly? 9205. Yep. Divided by 407.72 is about 1.1. I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth. All right, so we get about 1.1 times bigger. So that makes sense. It's just a little bit more than, it's just a little bit bigger than the men's. I'm sorry, a little bit bigger than the women's. All right. Okay, in this problem, it says Mario wants to bring cans of Poland Spring seltzers to the beach for his family. His cooler can hold up to 400 cubic inches of space. He added ice that takes up 100 cubic inches of space. And each can of seltzer has a height of 5 inches and a diameter of 2.5 inches. How many cans can he fit in the cooler? So, we don't know the shape of the cooler, but we do know how much volume it has to fit cans of anything. Use seltzer, water, right? We just know how much space can fit inside of the cooler, which it can hold up to 400 cubic inches. So if it holds up to 400 cubic inches, and then he added ice, so he adds ice that takes up 100 cubic inches, that means you would have to take 400 and take away 100 because that ice takes up some of the space in the cooler. So the cooler with the ice can hold 300 cubic inches of space. Pretty simple to figure out. Now, a seltzer has a height of 5 inches and diameter of 2.5 inches. Now, the seltzer is a cylinder, right? Can of seltzer is form of cylinder. So that is going to be pi r squared h. Now, they tell me the height is 5. Didn't want that color. The height is 5. So that means 5 goes in here, right? And then the diameter is, I'm running out of colors here. Do this. Diameter is 2.5. So to find the radius, you have to take the diameter, which is 2.5, divided by 2, which is 1.25. So that's going to go in for my R here. And don't forget to square that. All right, so now we're going to put this in my calculator. 1.25 squared times 5 times pi is 24.544. Round to the nearest thousandth. Okay. How many cans can he now fit in the cooler? So we got how much free space, how much one can takes up. You guessed it. You divide these. So you take these and divide them. So 300, nope, not 300, divided by 24.544 is 12.2222. Now you can't fit 0.2 cans in there, so it would only be 12 cans. So again, you're using your common sense to answer these questions. Use the proper formula. Use the calculator to make sure you put in the correct calculations, and then answer the question using your common sense and rounding if necessary. This one we didn't have to round, but you might get questions that tell you to round to a specific decimal spot. So that's it for today's video, and thank you for watching. Always remember, whether you're solving for X or Y, always give math a try.